Reeves Immigration Law Group now brings you Immigration Law on Your Side.
Okay, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat and welcome to another Immigration Law on Your Side right here on PHLV Radio. Hatid po sa atin ng ating mga kaibigan from Reeves Immigration Law Group. Mga kaibigan, mainit ang pag-uusapan natin. Aside from mainit sa Las Vegas, pero mainit pa rin talaga ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon as usual kasi ito yung mga tinatanong nyo palagi, especially regarding your citizenship interview. Maraming natatakot sa portion na ito ng inyong immigration process. Kasi mga kaibigan, the citizenship interview is the stage of the process of becoming a U.S. citizen when the U.S. government determines your eligibility to become an American, based on all the information you've already provided on your application. During your naturalization interview, a USCIS officer will ask you questions about your application and background. Kaya magandang malaman natin kung ano ang mga pointers ni Attorney Diza ngayon. Well, unless you qualify for an exemption, you will also take a naturalization test, which is made up of two components. One, yung English test, at yung pangalawa, yung civics test. Ito yung pinag-aaralan natin, nagre-review tayo. Merong binibigay silang mga reviewer ang USCIS. So ngayong gabi, kasama na naman natin si Attorney Fil-Am Javier Diza, partner at Reeves Immigration Law Group, to help us prepare for these tests and interview. So let's bring in Attorney Diza. Nanggagaling po siya sa kanyang opisina sa San Francisco, California. Attorney Diza, magandang gabi po sa iyo.
Magandang gabi, Kuya Johan, at binabati rin natin lahat ng viewers and listeners ng PHLV Radio. Magandang umaga, magandang hapon, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. At mainit ang ating pag-uusapan dahil ang naturalization, Kuya Johan, ay final step ng ating mga kababayan sa kanilang immigration journey. Whether madali or mahaba ang kanilang proseso, ito po yung final step at dapat po nila ipaghandaan para po sila ay magiging US citizen.
All right, as we said, this is the final step ng ating immigration process. So when does this happen, attorney? Itong pag-test at pag-i-interview ng USCIS sa ating mga applicants.
Lahat ng mga nag-a-apply ng naturalization, Kuya Johan, whether it is based on 3 years kasi nakuha nila ang kanilang green card through marriage at they still live with the US citizen spouse, or through 5 years, more than 5 years or more, through preference category or employment-based cases, lahat po yan na i-interview. Wala pong tinatawag na exempted ang interview, kagaya ng pag-apply ng green card na let's say sa employment-based kayo, pinetition kayo H-1B, then final ko ng employer nyo ng green card, there's a probability na wala kayong interview sa inyong green card application while you are in the US. But for naturalization examination, Kuya Johan, kahit yung mga exempted na pwede na pag-uusapan natin mamaya, meron yan in-person interview. So pupunta po kayo sa USCIS. So pag nag-apply po kayo at nakuha niyo yung resibo, usually ang makukuha ninyo pagka-apply ninyo yung receipt na saying that they accepted your application at meron na po kayong receipt para po pwede kayo mag-log in sa inyong account or mag-create ng account sa USCIS para sa updates. Then pagkatapos ng resibo, makukuha ninyo yung biometrics information para po pupunta po kayo sa service center para po kunin ang inyong fingerprints at ang inyong biometric information para sa inyong citizenship. Now, pagkatapos nito, Kuya Johan, waiting game, right? Hintayin nyo yung inyong interview. So, karamihan ng mga kliyente, nagtatanong kailan yung interview. So, medyo mabigat ito, Kuya Johan, lalong-lalo ng pandemic. Ibig sabihin, medyo matagal ang process. Pero sa lahat ng mga in-person appointments, ang naturalization, hindi po yan na-stop even during the pandemic. Ngayon, lalo na silang bumibilis ang pag-interview. So you can just imagine sa dami kasi po na nag-a-apply, ang San Francisco area lang, around 5,000 to 6,000 applicants per day ang natatanggap nila. So sa dami na nag-a-apply, ito po ang priority. So ngayon nakikita natin, depende po kung saan po kayo nakatira, umaabot na siguro ng mga between 7 months to a year, then patawag na po kayo ng interview. So yun po ang hintayin ninyo kailangan pong abangan, ang inyong interview notice. Kaya importante na huwag nyo ma-miss yan. Kasi po, kung ma-miss nyo yan at hindi kayo makapunta, sayang po ang binayad yung mga filing fees.
Wow, okay. What if, attorney, kailangan mong mag-reschedule at hindi ka available? Is there a possibility that you might be able to reschedule your interview?
Yes, you can possibly do interview rescheduling. No? Kailangan lang silang i-inform. Sulatan po ninyo or tawagan po ninyo kasi meron naman instructions doon sa kanilang notice that you are unable, lalong-lalo na, again, nung kasagsagan ng pandemic na mga na-COVID or na-expose sa COVID. So they strongly advise na reschedule ang appointment. So posible po yan.
That's all. That's nice. That's nice. Isa sa mga tinatanong ng ating mga kababayan, can somebody accompany you? Alam mo, attorney, natatakot sila, especially yung mga elderly na, at siyempre yung mga bata pa rin din. Can somebody accompany them during the interview? Katulad ng, for example, yung kanilang attorney. Pwede ba silang samahan po?
Yes, generally, Kuya Johan, allowed ang abogado dyan. Whether madali, mahirap ang kanilang application form, that they are entitled to a lawyer or with a lawyer with them. Hindi po yan pinagbabawal or hindi po bawal. In fact, it's your right to be represented before the USCIS. Now, ang abogado, kailangan notice of representation, right? Kailangan authorized po siya to practice immigration law, to practice law at least. Pwede rin po yung mga mga estudyante na pwede mag-represent na sa kanila sa kanilang interviews. Now, ang hindi po pwede, Kuya Johan, ay yung mga asawa halimbawa, kung hindi naman kailangan, at lalong-lalo na kung ngayong COVID na very limited ang kanilang tinatanggap na pumasok sa building. Dahil siyempre pag nag-converge ang mga tao sa lobby, di ba, ang daming tao niyan. Kung magdala ka ng mga anak mo, yung asawa mo, or yung magdadrive sa'yo, o yung anak mo para alalayan po kayo, they normally won't let you in just because of the COVID. In the past, hindi yun problema kasi diyan ka lang naman sa lobby, hindi ka lang papasok sa sa officer's room, no? Pero ngayon, Kuya Johan, very limited. Only the lawyer at saka kung exempted po kayo sa English reading and writing at kung may interpreter, pwede po kayo magdala ng interpreter. So yun po yung mga possibility na pwede po kayo magdala ng kasama. At yung asawa naman, kung based on marriage ang inyong petition at rather ang application, file ka ng naturalization at 3 taon kayong green card holder, you're still living with your husband, they usually require din yung asawa to be present. Pero kung hindi po na-advise dun sa notice that bring your spouse or your petitioner, hindi ho kailangan sila. Pero yun lang po ang mga allowed, Kuya Johan, yung abogado and people who would assist mga aplikante if they are unable to walk, tutulak yung kanilang wheelchair halimbawa, posible yon, or yung mag-i-interpret sa kanila. So ito yung mga allowed lang na pwedeng mag-join or mag-accompany sa mga aplikante.
Alam mo naman ang ating mga kababayan, talaga namang pagka mga ganitong important events in their lives, buong barangay ang kasama. Kailangan may moral support. So yan, malinaw mga kaibigan, especially at this time of the pandemic, talagang limited ang pupwedeng makasama sa inyong interview. Attorney, paano ba sila magpe-prepare dito sa interview process na ito sa katagal-tagal ng hinintay mo? Para bang, final step na ito. Pero kailangan mag-prepare pa rin kasi baka madisgrasya dahil sa mga sagot nyo. How do you prepare for the interview, attorney?
Yes, it's really very important, mga kababayan, to prepare for your naturalization interview kasi as we mentioned, last step na yan, baka matalisod pa kayo at ma-deny yung application, or worst scenario is bawiin yung green card nyo at ilagay kayo sa removal proceedings. So it is really very important sa mga kababayan natin na i-print out ninyo ang inyong application form para you can go over yung application form before the interview. Very important yan ang inyong immigration history. So yung mga kababayan natin na nakuha ang kanilang green cards, dapat alam nila paano sila nagka-green card. Di ba, Kuya Johan? Kasi lalong-lalo kung based on marriage, right? And they were saying that happened 10 years ago or 20 years ago, ngayon lang sila nag-file ng naturalization. or through employment, for example, at sila ay pinetition ng hospital at yung job offer, ano yung position na in-offer sa kanila, saan yung job site. So alam nila lahat yun kasi nasa record. So as we always tell our clients, Kuya Johan, you don't go to war without knowing what your enemies have a possession with your records. Diba? Kasi pagdating mo pa lang sa interview, Kuya Johan, kung medyo masalimuot ang iyong immigration history, nandun lahat yung file mo. Kung tambak na file yan, nandun sa harapan nila, and they can always go over the application form. So if you obtain your green card through marriage, they expect you to know who your petitioner spouse was, right? Kahit sabi mo, attorney, 10 years ago, 20 years ago na yan, hindi ko na alam ang magulang niya, hindi ko na alam kung saan siya pinanganak o ano ang kanyang date of birth. So, asawa mo yan at one point. So, dapat they expect you to know. You know the basic information of your petitioner and also the places where you live. So, ganun din sa employment-based, Kuya Johan. So, kung pinetition kayo ng hospital, di ba, na based sa California, and then nakita nila doon sa inyong application, right? Let's say 5 years, sasabihin sa'yo, where did you work for the last 5 years? Kuha mo lang yung green card mo like 5 years ago, wala yung employer mo dun sa listahan, dun 5 years na yon. At sasabihin, well, yung petitioner mo is based in Nevada, bakit hindi ka nag-work doon? So, nandun lahat, Kuya Johan. So, it's really very important for you to review the application form, kung ano yung sinulat nyo dyan. The good thing about, reviewing the application form, Kuya Johan, and you realize, let's say you submitted the application form in a hurry or nagiging unconscious ka sa mga nangyayari na i-file mo, and then upon reviewing your application form, na-realize mo may mga mistake ka, di ba? So instead na nailagay mo California, isulat mo Nevada or vice versa, right? Pwede mong i-correct yun at the interview, right? So, and that's the purpose of the interview, mga kababayan, is to make sure that the information you provided in your application form is accurate, and still updated. So yun ang gagawin po ninyo. So make sure to, for you to prepare is of course to review your application for your immigration history. I always tell my clients too na ang immigration history nyo, most of the time, it's more than 50%, ang basis ng approval ng case mo. Ang mga Pilipino, hindi gaanong problema ang English, reading and writing, and civic exam. 99% of the time, pumapasa ang mga kababayan natin. But of course, ang naging problema dyan, whether they will be granted as the approval ng kanilang application is yung kanilang immigration history and whether they have also a criminal history.
Wow, okay. So dapat talagang i-review and probably one of the tips that we've been saying over and over again for many episodes now, dapat honest po tayo. Kasi makikita din ng USCIS ang nasa record. And speaking of honesty, attorney, senaryo, no? Isa sa mga binato sa ng ating mga listeners ngayon, ano? Kung kayo po ay mag-asawa ba, tapos kayo ay i-interviewin. 'Di ba yung meron tayong there's this game show na yung mag-asawa pinaghihiwalay tapos titingnan kung ano yung mga sagot nila. Is there such a thing like that na dapat eksakto yung sagot mo doon sa isinagot din ng asawa mo?
Yes, Kuya Johan, sa mga adjustment of status interview yan, kung mag-apply ka pa lang ng green card o sa removal of condition. And it's also possible sa naturalization application, lalong-lalo na kung nagkaroon sila ng tip na, this is the marriage was obtained fraudulently or it is for convenience. Or probably yung testimony mo during the interview ay hindi magkatugma-tugma. Yun ang sinasabi natin na hindi ugma doon sa sinasabi mo doon sa prior records mo. Kasi nakikita nila yan, Kuya Johan Sasabihin nila anong pangalan ng asawa mo ng petition sa'yo, hindi mo matandaan kung saan kayo nagsama. Right? Alala mo yung palayo niya pero hindi yung full name niya. Hindi mo kilala ang magulang niya, hindi mo kilala ang kapatid niya, wala ka nang alam. You cannot make an excuse na that happened 10 years ago or 20 years ago. But this is your life unless meron ka sigurong amnesia. Right? Ang pag-aasawa, Kuya Johan, is part of your life na dapat alam mo yon. Although kaya sabi natin sa mga kababayan natin, not necessarily yung mga anniversary or yung mga birthday, at least may idea ka, di ba? Yung year, ilang taon at that point. So, posible yan, Kuya Johan, tinatawag natin Stokes interview or enhanced interview. where the spouse are separated or ask questions separately and ask the same questions, and they will be on separate rooms. So kung hindi tugma ang kanilang mga sagot, doon na dadadali ang mga aplikante. Kaya importante siguro mga kababayan, again, remind rin natin na it's your right to have an attorney at that point. Kung sakali mayroong mga ganyang interview, kailangan mo i-discuss sa inyong abogado kung ano yung mga issues para by the time na magkaroon ka ng interview, medyo prepared po kayo, rather well prepared po kayo para maiwasan ang fraudulent findings ng inyong application.
And sa dami-dami, attorney, ng mga fina-file natin, marami mga documents, na mga attachments dyan. Is it advisable that we dig up our old files from way back when? No? Before ka pa nagkaroon ng green card, I'm sure meron kang ganito kakapal na mga envelope, kung ano-anong mga documents. Is it advisable that you review and go back sa mga documents na yan?
It is really advisable to go after and to go over your application form. Ngayon with the electronics and emails and everything, most likely I advise my client, email mo sa sarili mo and probably keep a document or folder, right? These are my immigration records para hindi mo ma-delete, accidentally delete. Kasi mahirap Kuya Johan ng kunin sa immigration. You can always request your file from USCIS. Kung hindi po kayo nagmamadali, pwede namang i-request din sa immigration ang inyong file. Ang naging problema doon Kuya Johan, kung hiwalay na kayo sa asawa mo, right, hindi nila ibinibigay yung full information ng spouse, right? Nire-redact nila yon. Kung tinatanggal, kung ano yung date of birth, anong social security, ano yung address, ano yung naturalization certificate number. So, redacted lahat yon. So, it's really important mga kababayan na if you want to keep your records, right, you email it to yourself at create a folder para you can always go back in time para reviewin yan pag kayo nag-file ng inyong citizenship. Now, ang abogado naman, kung may abogado kayo when you file for green card or other immigration-related documents, lawyers are only allowed to keep the file for 5 years. So kung more than 10 years na yan, we are allowed as law firms, lawyers to destroy your file kasi hindi naman pwedeng tambak lang yung makapal mong file sa office, and it it's a lot of our space o yung mga cabinet namin at maraming mga files pang darating. So we are allowed to destroy your file after 5 years. So yun ang isang advice natin sa mga kababayan natin, lalo na kung medyo complicated ang case niyo, is whether keep records for future use or kung complicated ang kaso niyo, request your file from USCIS.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of records, attorney, singit ko lang ito, isa sa mga kino-comment ng ating mga viewers and listeners nung nalaman nilang ito ang ating topic. How about ito mga records ng because it's the time that you're waiting for your citizenship application, naka-green card kayo, dapat medyo good boy ka. Paano ngayon kung meron kang mga police records, merong mga court records na medyo, of course, na-submit yun. Would you kailangan bang i-review yun at siguraduhin tama yung mga isasagot mo sa mag-i-interview sa'yo?
Yeah, one of the eligibility requirements ng approval ng inyong citizenship ay good moral character within the last 5 years. So kung meron po kayo mga arrest or criminal convictions, pina-file na natin yan o ina-evaluate natin yan, Kuya Johan, before we file. Kasi may mga clients na hindi sila allowed mag-naturalize dahil number one, they are prohibited. Limbawa, attempted murder, yung mga felonies or serious crimes, hindi po pwede yan. Kung ban sila to naturalize. And, there's also a probability na pag nag-file ka ng naturalization, ma-deny ka, they'll put you in court and then they'll initiate a removal proceeding against you. So, nire-review yan kaagad. Now, kung eligible ka naman despite your criminal conviction, mayroon kang DUI 5 years ago, right? At na-serve mo na ang probation mo, 3 taon, okay ka na. So ang iwasan lang po ninyo ay to commit another crime right after you file, kasi kahit sabi mong simple DUI yan, you are not allowed to naturalize, right? You are not, they won't approve your application simply because you need to serve yung probation mong tatlong taon. So may mga client ako, Kuya Johan, na approve na lahat, naghintay lang siya ng oath-taking. This was pre-pandemic where they recommended approval, naghintay ka na lang ng ng oath-taking. right? So between the approval and the oath taking, dati kasi umabot ng 2 buwan or 3 buwan bago ka makakuha ng notice na mag-oath ka na, approve ka na, right? Nagkaroon siya ng DUI, and that would, as I said, would make you ineligible to become a US citizen. So pwede nilang i-deny yan at sasabihin you apply again in once you're eligible. So very important to bring and to review yung criminal records mo, right? And to make sure that it is consistent. Kasi may mga sitwasyon pa, kung nabanggit mo nga, yung mga criminal records or arrest, Kuya Johan, where there was only an arrest, right? And wala namang charge because either simply because, there's no strong evidence to file charges. Now, ang kliyente ngayon is umaamin na, binugbog ko yun one time, yung asawa ko nagkaroon ng problem, inaamin binugbog. Ang record ng arrest mo lang is there was an altercation. So, just make sure that even if there's no conviction, mga kababayan, or there's only an arrest, there was no conviction, if you admit committing a felony, committing a crime, then that is also constitute, where the immigration can find you not having a good moral character and a basis for denial of your application.
Okay, all right. Talagang inuulan tayo ng mga questions regarding this topic. The moment you told us na ito yung topic at mamaya tatanong natin sa inyo, attorney, yung iba pang mga tanong nila. Pero tuloy muna tayo dito sa interview itself. Gaano katagal po yung interview, attorney? Usually, I remember during my time, pero nagbago na ba yun? Usually mga 15, 20, less than 30 minutes? Ganun pa rin po ba?
Yes, ganun pa rin. Ideally, Kuya Johan, 20 minutes at the most. Tapos ka na. Ang problema mo lang minsan dyan yung waiting time. Kasi pag medyo na-delay sila sa isang aplikante, instead na 1 o'clock yung interview mo, baka tawagin ka ng 2:00. So make sure na, lalo na sa mga maagang interview, 7:30, make sure to eat your breakfast kung kumakain kayo ng breakfast o lunch. Kung nasa around lunch break kayo kasi hindi mo alam kung kailan kayo tatawagin. But ideally Kuya Johan, without yung backlog na delay ng kanilang pagtawag sa'yo, yung time mo with the officer is approximately 20 minutes.
Ayun. Okay. So after 20 minutes, tapos na ang iyong kaba. At tinapon nga dito, ang tanong nila, fast forward ako, pero mamaya nyo na sagutin, attorney. After the interview ba, malalaman mo kung Amerikano ka na or hindi. Mamaya yan, attorney. Pero in the meantime, pagpunta mo doon, attorney, sa interview, ano ang kailangang dalhin?
Yes, ang notice itself would list those documents of very, read the instructions kung ano yung mabasahin mo, basically yung ID, driver's license, right? Just to make sure that you reside in the same city where the application was filed. Kasi hindi ka pwedeng mandaya, Kuya Johan, sabi ng abogado mo, medyo lenient dito sa San Francisco, dito na natin ipa-file. No, they won't allow that. So make sure that you provide the correct address mo kasi hindi yun pinipili. Degenerate yan kung saan zip code ka, right? So kung San Francisco Bay Area ka, San Francisco ka, San Jose or Sacramento area. Kung Nevada, Las Vegas, dyan sa area ng Las Vegas o sa Reno area mayroong Reno office. So Kuya yun, dalhin mo yung ID mo to make sure na that they will allow you enter the federal building. Very important yan. Yung appointment notice, importante rin. Marami nakakalimot yung kanilang notice. Sasabihin ng guard sa'yo, nasaan yung notice mo? Sabi mo, wala kang mai-provide, they won't let you in. So, important din dalhin mo yan. As I mentioned, yung driver's license mo, yung passport mo, yung green card mo. Now, importante ngayon, Kuya Johan, dito sa Bay Area where pag na-approve po kayo, mag-oath ka the same day. So, let's say ang interview mo is 8:00 at sasabihin nila, mag-oath ka na ng 1 o'clock. So, make sure that you also dress properly kasi mag-oath ka and then siguro may mga picture taking yan, finally, makukuha mo yung naturalization mo the same day. So in Las Vegas and other areas, either they set you the following day or the following week. So medyo mabilis sila ngayon kasi hindi kagaya dati na, they have to set you for a big ceremony, di ba? Parang ilang libo yung mga nag-a-attend. Pero ngayon, either the same day, the following day, or the following week. So, yung mga important documents aside from yung identity ninyo, right, yung green card and passport, kailangan din po yung arrest record na nabanggit natin kanina, kung hindi pa ninyo dala. At saka kung based on marriage ang inyong application, kailangan din ninyong dalhin ang proof of bona fides kasi ang basis mo is I'm still married with and married to and living with the US citizen spouse. So dalhin mo yung mga for the last 3 years that you're filing taxes together, you're paying your mortgage, you have these bank accounts together. Now, sa mga tawag nito, sa mga may utang sa taxes, kailangan din ng proof that you're paying. Kasi if you're not paying the taxes, you're not able to establish a good moral character. So kailangan din ng proof that you're paying taxes. Kung kayo po ay male between the ages of 18 to 26, kailangan din ng proof of selective service. Madali lang yan, i-search mo lang sa internet yan and then you can print out that you have registered with the selective service. So yun po yung mga documents na kailangan po ninyo ipaghanda. At as much possible, kailangan nyo ng photocopy kasi minsan ang officer, they take the original, right? So I'm bigay original mo, attorney, ni-request ko pa yan sa Pilipinas, aming marriage certificate, PSA, tagal kong hinintay yan, kailangan ko yan. So make sure to make a copy kasi the officer might want to see the original and take a copy of that certified copy. So at saka matutuwa yung officer sa'yo. The officer can always make copies of your documents pero what we advise our clients to make the officer's job easy is to be prepared and you can always give the copy of your documents to the officer.
All right. So pagdating doon, attorney, sa interview, what kind of questions ang mga itinatanong na sa ating mga applicants?
So yung 20 minutes na yun, Kuya Yon, titignan natin. Pero ang bilis, mas matagal pa yata yung discussion, the preparation. But as we mentioned, they go over the application form. So lahat ngayon nasa online na. Titignan nila ang kanilang yung kanilang laptop o yung kanilang computer, nandun na yung records mo, right? So they go over the application form. That's why it's important, as we mentioned kanina sa preparation, is to go over the application form. So number 2 would be the English reading and writing, and then yung civic history. So madali lang naman yung English reading and writing. As we mentioned kanina, 99% of the time ang kababayan nating Pilipino pumapasa yan. So it's one sentence ang ipababasa sa'yo and one sentence ang pasusulat sa'yo. For example, yung datinan ko kahapon, ang tanong sa kliyente was, pinabasa dun sa iPad, where is the White House? So yun ang binasa lang sa, yun na yung English reading mo. Yung English writing naman, ipasusulat sa'yo sa iPad din, the White House, pasusulat sa'yo, sasabihin sa'yo ng officer, the White House is in Washington, D.C. So ganun lang ka-basic ang English reading and writing. Yung civic history ko, Johan, ang medyo mabigat. Hindi rin mabigat, madali pa rin to kasi pag nagbabasa kayo ng dyaryo and updated po kayo ng current events, madali po yan. So 6 out of the 10 questions ang tatanungin sa inyo. At may reviewer naman po kayo na 100 questions, hindi sila po lumilihis dun sa tanong. So they're confined, the 100 questions, dun sila magpupull ng 10 questions para po sagutin ninyo. So kung na-approve no po yon, pumasa kayo ng English reading and writing at okay naman yung immigration history nyo, wala kayong criminal records, wala kayong mga travels, right? Then the officer would say recommended approval. So yun yung makikita nyo, congratulations. So ang ganong loob mo, masaya ka dahil sasabihin congratulations, you passed the civic and English test. And then it says recommended for approval. Then as we mentioned kanina dito sa San Francisco where you take the oath ceremony the same day. Now, once you get, so yun yung nangyayari sa interview, Kuya Johan. That's why we said mga 20 minutes to probably 30 minutes lang ang interview sa inyo.
Isa sa mga exciting questions na ibinabato sa atin and always ibinabato sa atin kahit noon pa ang pinag-uusapan natin ng naturalization interview. Tinatanong nila, attorney, pinakakanta daw po ba yung Star-Spangled Banner?
Well, one of the questions actually was, what is the national, sa civic test, what is the national anthem of the United States? Diba? Hindi ho bayang magili or lupang hinili. So, there was several officers would, joke around then, like, you answer Star-Spangled Banner, right? And then the officer would say, sing it, or, can you sing it, right? And the client would be like, it's not part of the questions, but some people were just started singing, if they, but it's not part of the test, Kuya Johan, to sing the national anthem.
Ayun, marami tayong mga kilalang nagpa-practice, attorney. Alam mo naman tayo mga Pilipino, mahilig kumanta.
Pag naging US citizen, Kuya Johan, kailangan talaga i-memorize by heart na rin.
Yeah, by heart na rin. Para pagka nag-attend kayo ng mga functions and then nag-play yung national anthem, makakasabay kayo. Ayan. Nasagot na yung attorney yan. Attorney, ito bang sa civics test and sa English test, is there a way na maging exempted yung especially mga elderly na natin na mga applicants?
Yung English language ko yan, napakadali yan kahit medyo matanda na ang mga kababayan natin. Pero marami rin talaga na hindi nakakasulat at nakakabasa ng gusto. So in that situation, kung kayo pa ay 50 years old na at kayo pa ay green card holder for over 20 years. So kung 20 years ka ng green card, Kuya Johan, siyempre sasabihin nila sa'yo, pwede ka nang mag-English. Pero pwede sila mag-exempt sa English language. Pero yung civic, kailangan pa rin nilang ikuhanin yan. Now, kung kayo po ay 55 years old na at kayo po ay green card holder for 15 years, right, pwede rin kayo exempted. Pero as I mentioned, kahit yung mga client ko na, grade 1 lang inabot, right, nakakapasa ng English reading and writing kasi madali lang, very basic yan. But as we mentioned, those are the ages and the number of years na sila ay green card holder. Now, kung qualify po sila ng exemption sa language, kailangan pa rin nilang kunin yung civic test, pero sa Tagalog, di ba? So, sasabihin sa'yo, sino ang Pangulo ng Amerika? So, instead na who's the President of the US, Tagalog ang gagawin sa inyo. Right? Pwede rin sila kumuha ng interpreter, di ba? Na interpret kung sa tatanungin ng officer, then interpret nila. So yun yung mga exemption, Kuya Yon. Pwede rin sa medical reason, kung kayo po may disability dahil kayo po ay nagkaroon ng mental disability. May mga client tayo na inborn na hindi makapagsalita at makapagsulat or hindi makafunction, pwede rin po yun. Diba? Nasa wheelchair at pinaalagaan, pwede ninyong i-file ng citizenship. So hindi yan hindrance para po sila mag-apply at maging US citizen. Kailangan lang po ng certification from medical doctor of that disability. Na-allow po yan at binibigyan ng na-approve ang kanilang citizenship.
Attorney, babato ko lang itong question na ito. Para sa pamilya, pinadala sa atin ng isang listener dito sa Las Vegas. If it is a family application and then you've been scheduled to have the interview together, magkakasabay kayo, yung mga anak, yung nanay at tatay, kinakailangan bang sabay-sabay or there's a possibility na hindi magkakasabay yung pamilya? At kasi ang iba natatakot. Gusto ko kasama ko yung nanay ko pagka nag-interview. Paano kung na-schedule ng iba? Are they scheduling it at one time pag family?
The advice there, mga kababayan, is for you to file at the same time, right? So, family of 5, for example, sabay-sabay kayong mag-file, most likely there's an they link your alien file, lalo na kayo minor, nakuha yung sa magulang nyo, about derivative beneficiary po kayo ng inyong lolo, right? And then yung tatay nyo nag-file din. So, posible yun na sabay-sabay din po kayong tatawagin. Right? So, yes, there's a possibility na sabay-sabay po kayong tatawagin if you file at the same time.
Okay. Lifeline, ang tanong nitong isang kaibigan natin, pwede daw ba, attorney, during the interview itself, tumawag ng lifeline? Pagka, kunwari,
call a friend.
Call a friend. Attorney Diza, kung hindi mo masagot, kailangan ba na pre-arrange mo yung attorney? Or during that time, pwede mong sabihin, teka muna, hindi ko po masasagot. I can't answer that. Can I call a friend?
Right. Or, Kuya Yon, who are the 2 senators of Nevada?
Yan,
right?
Call a friend yan.
No, hindi po pwede po yan. Kaya it's make sure na review nyo ng gusto and preparation is the key, right? Hindi po pwedeng call a friend. Hindi rin po pwedeng mangodigo. In fact, sa dami ng mga kliyente nating pinagdaanan, Kuya Johan, meron akong kliyente na sinulot ba sa kamay. Alam mo yun, inaano ko na sa paa niya, parang tinatadya ka, stop that, like, wag mo nang gawin yan kasi otherwise magalit sa yung officer, And then yung isa pa, mayroong kodigo dyan na binagsak niya sa paanan niya yung kanyang kodigo, binabasa in front of me. Like, it's kind of like insult kasi, tapos bibigyan ka pa ng instructions sa kalokohan ng ibang lahi. Hindi naman Pilipino to, ibang lahi na attorney, pag nakatayo yung pen na ganito, ang sagot, yes, kasi pag ganun, no, pwede masakin, no, I'm not going to help you with that. I mean, I'm risking my professional license because of you, because of just the yes or no. Kasi Kuya Johan, dun sa N400 questions, may mga eligibility questions dyan, like yung yes or no. Kung hindi mo maintindihan yun at di mo masagot yun, that could be a basis for a second interview para lang, practicein mo yung English mo. Kasi kung sabihin sa'yo, have you ever claimed to be a US citizen? Right? Kung di mo naintindihan yon, or have you ever been arrested? Yung mga simplang question na ganyan, di mo masagot, pwede ka nilang i-deny yung inyong English reading and writing just based on that. So, i-deny ka or bibigyan ka ng another time, another opportunity to improve your English. So, wala pong lifeline, nasa inyo po lahat yan, kahit mag-hire ka ng abogado, the lawyer would make yourself, probably more confident, and comfortable, pero the lawyer cannot answer your questions or cheat for you. Bawal po yun. We don't want to risk our professions, probably to make you more confident, kititnan din natin officer siguro kung anong pakiramdam. May mga officers naman, Kuya Johan, in case of doubt, mabait na tao ka, at meron din silang, posibleng ibigay sa yung mga madadaling tanong lang.
Ayun. Actually, isa yan sa mga tinatanong sa atin, attorney, yung mga tanong daw ba ay nagkakapare-pareho? Pwede bang yung iyong kaibigan na i-interviewin bukas, bigyan mo ng tip?
Yes, posible yan, Kuya Johan. But from my understanding, random yan. Random yung kanilang mga... So once inopen nila ang kanilang computer or laptop, nandoon na yung mga tanong. So, but as I mentioned, hindi sila lumalabas dun sa 100 questions. There was a time na I prep a client and I based on what they ask my clients, kasi very very fresh pa sa aking memory kasi ka-attend ko lang ng interview, So meron ko prepare, so I don't really look at the questionnaires anymore. I just based on what my knowledge, kung ano yung natatandaan ko or ano yung mga posibleng tinatanong. And it happens exactly similar yung tinanong. So posible din na magkataon, but most likely it is a random questions picked from the 100 questions.
All right. So mga kaibigan, for our listeners and viewers who just joined us today, pinag-uusapan po natin ngayon itong palagi niyong itinatanong sa atin, itong paano pa nagpe-prepare para sa inyong naturalization interview. So attorney, na-interview na. After the interview, what's next? Malalaman mo ba daw kung ikaw ay pasado or merong suspense?
The best thing for the naturalization application is you'll find out right away, right? Hindi kagaya ng green card where they have to run your fingerprints or investigate further. Now, for naturalizations now, you get the result right away. So whether the possible scenarios are tatlong scenario. Unang-una, yung pinakahintay mo is approval, right? I recommend approval. You pass the reading, the English test, the reading and writing, and the civic test. And then congratulations, recommended for approval. So basically, isang click lang ng supervisor yan para sa oath-taking ceremony mo. So as mentioned, the same day sa Bay Area, pwede ka nang mag-oath. Other areas, makukuha mo na yung result. The other scenario would be continuance, right? Ibig sabihin, hindi ka approve, i-continue ko to dahil hindi ka marunong sumagot sa English, hindi mo pinasa yung 6 out of the 10 question, 4 lang yung pinasa mo. Bibigyan kita ng opportunity to be interviewed again, in 60 to 90 days. That's the second scenario. Third scenario, kulang ka ng documents. Hey, you committed a crime. After you file this naturalization, wala kang dalang records. We want you to bring it to us or send it to us, certified copy of your records, your arrest or your criminal convictions. Or nag-travel ka sa Pilipinas and it shows that you were there for 8 months. So anong ginawa mo doon? I need you to provide me reasons why you were out for more than 8 months, right? Or more than 6 months at yung price mo sa US. So yun po ang possible scenario, Kuya Johan, approval, continuance, or they're requesting for more documents. Now, they don't tell you right away, even if it's, on its face, hindi ka eligible, that you are denied. So, hindi ganon. So, even if there are issues on your case, right, in your case, they would, give you the opportunity respond, di ba? Why we are not denying your case. So you're given the chance to rebut kung ano nilang findings. Like sasabihin nila sa'yo, hey, you based on marriage and we have a report here, a fraud determination where our agents went to your ex-wife's residence and she admitted in writing that, you married her for convenience and you paid her this amount of money and the marriage was never consummated. Or you never lived with her, you were actually living with your children or your prior spouse. So they'll give you time to respond. So yun po ang 3 possible scenarios after your interview.
Attorney, when you are an immigrant, before na magbigyan ka ng citizenship, ang most prized possession ng ating mga kababayan is the green card. Kaya marami tayong mga nakakausap dito sa Las Vegas after nag-oath-taking sila and everything, no? Sabi niya, kinuha yung green card ko na. Kinuha na yung green card. Parang bang ang sakit sa ano. Pero ang tanong, attorney, is pagka in-interview ka dito sa naturalization and hindi ka nakapasa or may problema or something, does that follow na yung green card mo ay mare-revoke or mabibigyan ka ng chance pa rin?
They will not take away your green card. And take note, mga kababayan, regardless of the complexity ng immigration history mo or criminal records ninyo or immigration history, immigration records, once they give you the green card, you have the green card, right? The immigration where you went to the interview for your citizenship or naturalization cannot take that away from you. So, hindi na pwedeng kunin yun. Unless, of course, pag nag-oath na kayo, di ba? Kasi US citizen ka na. So, to answer your question, Kuya Johan, no, the immigration officer has no authority to revoke, to take your green card away from you. What they're going to do is they deny your naturalization or your application and refer you to the immigration judge. Because under immigration law, only an immigration judge can take away your green card or revoke your green card, not the immigration officer. And then by the time you consult the immigration attorney, how to keep your green card, right? The question is, the other question would be, can I still renew it? Kasi pa-expire na, right? Dinini na ako because I committed fraud, dinini ako because I committed crime. So then you consult an attorney. Ang position namin is you're still a green card holder and you should still be entitled to renew your green card and you should still be entitled to keep it as a green card and petition your family members kung may naiwan pa sa Pilipinas. Ang naging problema lang dyan, Kuya Johan, syempre kung may mga records po kayo, pag-uwi sa Pilipinas, hindi mo maiwasan yung secondary inspection, right? Or detention at the port of entry, lalo kung ang serious ang inyong criminal or immigration records.
Kasi maraming kababayan natin, especially hindi lang Filipino, na nagdadalawang isip tuloy mag-file ng citizenship. Kasi sabi niya, paano kung hindi ako mabigyan? Baka bawiin ito sa akin. So kung may complexity nga pala mga kabigan, kailangan nyo mag-consult ng mga abogado para mabigyan kayo ng tamang preparation with regards to the interview and the possible scenarios. Para ready po kayo. So, attorney, napakaganda nitong mga napag-usapan natin na kulang ang time natin dito. Sigurado, marami pang mga tinatanong ang mga kababayan natin. Guys, if you have questions about naturalization, just comment it down below or ipadala dito sa PHLV Radio kay Attorney Diza and siguradong sasagutin yan ni Attorney. Attorney, at this time, we'll wrap things up with this topic. What is our major takeaway from you regarding this naturalization interview?
Yes, becoming a US citizen, Kuya Johan, has many advantages, right? Pinakahintay natin maging US citizen, okay lang naman, especially lalong na mga kababayan natin na gusto pa rin maging Filipino, may dual citizen po naman. Pero mas maraming advantages po ang US citizen at the same time Filipino citizen kasi you can vote, you can participate in the electoral, exercise dito sa United States. You can use a US passport at bibilis pa ang mga petition ninyo sa inyong asawa, sa inyong mga anak. So, applying for naturalization or citizenship should be one of your priorities. Huwag po ninyong isang tabi yan kasi ang dami pong advantages. Pangalawa, we are the Biden administration, hindi kasing higpit, di ba, ng prior administration. Pangatlo, ang professional fee at filing fee tumataas yan every year. So ang application form ngayon ng naturalization is 930. Pwede rin po kayo ma-exempt, sa fee waiver kung qualified po kayo. So take advantage po ninyo yan, i-file po ninyo. At kung may mga complication ng inyong cases, may immigration history po kayo, you went to see an immigration judge, or you have a prior criminal history, mayroon po kayong travels na masyadong matagal outside the US, kailangan po kayong mag-consult ng abogado. Kami po dito sa Reeves Immigration Law Group, ang aming practice ay purely US immigration, and we have several offices in the US. I'm based in San Francisco and Walnut Creek. We also have an office in Makati, in China, and in Pasadena. So all the partners at Reeves Immigration Law Group ay certified board specialist ng immigration. So you'll be consulting with an immigration specialist pag may mga issues kayo. And by the way, Kuya Johan, ang aming Walnut Creek office, we now accept in-office consultation for free since bago lang yan. Now, if you also heard us from PHLV Radio and request for a fee waiver sa inyong consultation fee, we'll also acknowledge and recognize that. Maraming salamat ulit sa mga viewers and listeners natin. Keep on sharing our episode at lahat ng episode ng programa ng PHLV Radio, and let us know kung may mga issues kami at kung ayaw nyo pong i-message dito sa mismong episode natin ngayon, you can always send us a private message sa ating Facebook account. Maraming salamat ulit, Kuya Johan, at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Diza. Again, mga kababayan, isa na namang makabuluhang kwentuhan ngayon regarding immigration dito sa ating Immigration Law on Your Side. Brought to you by Reeves Immigration Law Group. And of course, Fil-Am Javier Diza, partner at Reeves Immigration Law Group. Katulad po ng nasabi ni Attorney Diza, marami silang opisina dito. We will remind you of their office numbers at the close of this program. In the meantime, Attorney, I'll give you this time to address our clients and our audience kung meron pa po kayong iba pang mga announcements.
Wala na, Kuya Johan. We just remind our kababayan to keep listening and watching all the programs ng PHLV Radio. Kung may mga kakilala kayo na may immigration concerns dito sa US at yung mga naghihintay pa ng visa, anywhere at US embassies worldwide, reach our firm, set a Zoom conference with one of the lawyers here, and we'll give you the great advice for you to immigrate right away.
All right. Again, Attorney, maraming salamat, mga kababayan. Thank you for joining us tonight on Immigration Law on Your Side right here at PHLV Radio. This streams Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific, and pwede niyong balikan sa ating mga podcast platforms and on social media as well. Sa mga tumutok sa atin sa radio, thank you so much. Sa mga nanood sa ating Amazon Fire TV, thank you. We will see you next time.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has been representing immigrants for nearly 40 years. Reeves Immigration Law Group has been fighting for its clients through experience and expertise. With immigration lawyers you can access at reasonable fees, even on Saturday. Payment plans are also available. Call us for your immigration solutions. We can do worldwide telephone and Skype consultations. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009. Reeves Immigration Law Group has offices in Los Angeles, San Francisco, China, and Philippines. See us at www.rreeves.com. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has just brought you Immigration Law on Your Side. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific on PHLV Radio. is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.